part of the money that will be raising from pharma company will be set aside in a foundation that the patient could benefit from in order to be treated for their ovarian cancer.
BioNeex is the first biopharma R&D open exchange platform for licensing and co-development partnerships of drug candidates. We are working closely with biopharmaceutical companies that are actively seeking preclinical and clinical stage drug candidates for in-licensing and co-development partnerships to expand their R&D pipelines. If you are a development stage biotech company and are looking for licensing and co-development partners for your drug candidates, then list them for free on BioNeex and get contacted directly by these biopharmaceutical companies. We are already working with many partners. Would you like to learn more about BioNeex? Feel free to get in touch with us. We look forward to working with you.
Hello everyone, today we are back again with BioNeex interview. Our guest is today founder and president of AptamiR Therapeutics, Dr. Marc. Hello, Dr. Thibonnier. It's nice to meeting you today.
Well, I'm glad being with you today and the crowd listening or watching the presentation.
Thank you. AptamiR Therapeutics is a preclinical stage biotech company developing microRNA oligonucleotide therapeutics that modulate several target genes in complex diseases. Please, Marc, tell us about the company and what makes this development stage biotech so unique.
Okay. Well, so I think you gave an excellent presentation about what we are trying to achieve. So when I started the company, that was after spending a few years in pharma at the VP level. And so that was a big environment of pharma. And I thought that drug development could be much simpler and nimbler. So I went back to California and I was immersed in new technology at that time. So that was the very beginning of the story of the oligonucleotide therapeutics. And I realized that what people were trying to do at that time to cure infectious diseases and or cancer could be applied to other complex diseases, especially cardiovascular diseases like obesity and NASH, which is now named so MFARD, so metabolic disease-associated fatty liver disease. So that was the concept of being lean, efficient, moving fast, and also what was a significant feature of our company is to use a modular model. So we joined the incubator in Austin, Texas. That was the Austin Technology Incubator. We are doing in silico work with the Department of Biomedical Engineering in Austin, Texas, but also with Duke University in Singapore. So that was in silico work with partners in Austin and in Singapore. For the cells in culture, we are partnering with ZenBio in North Carolina and Phenovista in San Diego. And for animal study, we are partnering with Jackson Labs. So that was a good illustration of being nimble and modular, choosing the right partner for in silico, in vitro, and in vivo work. And very quickly, we were able to identify the microRNA target that was a good metabolic target to treat obesity, diabetes, dyslipidemia. And by doing so, we discovered that, in fact, we could also treat the fatty liver disease.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Marc. You already talked a little bit about your technology. Can you explain us more in detail? What is really that proprietary platform technology that you are utilizing and the drug development pipeline that you have? What kind of drug candidates are you having at the moment in the pipeline and in which particular indications?
So in the context of the oligonucleotide therapeutics, so some companies are developing what we call antisense oligonucleotide, where they are targeting one specific gene. Others are using the sRNA, small interfering RNA. And this is where, for instance, Alnylam is very successful. And the third kind of oligonucleotide therapeutics you could develop are for microRNAs. And we decided to go for the microRNAs because the specific profile of a microRNA is to modulate several genes. So if you think about obesity, if you think about fatty liver disease, or more recently ovarian cancer, they are complex diseases where a lot of genes are involved. So to us, it was making sense to target a microRNA instead of the concept of a single drug, one target, or a single or two targets. We are reaching a few targets, and by doing so, we are more effective.
So you are actually having a multiple indications, like multiple targets, and one of them obesity. The second one, what was the other one?
So within obesity, so we also improve cholesterol, and also we improve fatty liver disease. And then in the context of our work, which is targeting the adipocytes, the fat cell, we discovered that the adipocytes are playing several roles in the development of ovarian cancer. So ovarian cancer can grow because there is a rich environment of adipocytes in the human belly. And then if there is no adipocytes, so the cancer cells have no fuel to grow. So we decided to use our expertise, our knowledge of targeting the adipocyte to the context of ovarian cancer, where right now it's a very severe unmet medical need, where the medication don't work very well, and life expectancy of patients with ovarian cancer is very limited.
So to move forward with your development, are you currently looking for licensing or co-development partners for your drug candidates?
So for what we call the cardiometabolic program, so we went all the way to the IND phase with the first generation of products, and we decided not to go further because other people, other company, including Alnylam and Regulus, we are facing some toxicity issues related to the structure or the chemical modification of the molecule. So we decided to work on generation 2.0 and now generation 2.5, where we eliminated the chemical modification that could potentially induce some toxicity. And also by targeting of the cells of interest, we can deliver a smaller dose, which is much more effective with long residence time. So for instance, inclisiran, which is a sRNA to treat cholesterol, now is a treatment that's approved in human diseases, and it's sub-Q injection once every 6 months. So when you are thinking in terms of the treatment that's effective, safe, and convenient, if you have to take a medication or several medication every day versus a sub-Q injection every 6 months, you dramatically increase the compliance of your patients. So for the cardiometabolic program, we have the generation 2.5 molecule being finalized for getting into the clinic within 2 years. For the ovarian cancer program, which is the program that we started only a few months ago. So now we are still looking for the targets that we could be looking at in terms of microRNA agonist or antagonist. So ideally, so the cardiometabolic program could be licensed out. But for the ovarian cancer program, so ideally, we like to be in the accelerator incubator with partners and bring the final molecule to early clinical program where it could be licensed out. So we are in a business of discovering and developing drugs. We are not in a business of marketing drugs.
Exactly. And who would be then, in this case, an ideal partner for you?
So for the cardiometabolic program, we already had discussion with a significant player in the field. So this is AstraZeneca, this is Eli Lilly, this is Sanofi, this is Novartis. They like what we are doing, but they won't see a finished product at the end of clinical program. So in terms of financing, early on, it's a few million. If you go to finish drug, end of phase 3, so this is like Novartis putting on the table 9.7 billion to acquire inclisiran, but this is their business model. Their business model is to acquire the drug at the end of clinical development because, as they say, they can quantify the risk.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Thibonnier. I want to also remind our audience that AptamiR Therapeutics drug candidates are already listed on BioNeex, and Marc is utilizing the platform. Marc, can you also tell a little bit about that? why you do believe then BioNeex can help you on that, finding the right partners?
Well, I think so. Basically, so if you are trying to raise money to get your biotech company moving, so the magic numbers is you have to reach out to at least 2,000 people. And out of the 2,000, 200 will reply, 20 will do due diligence, and 1 will invest. So clearly, yeah, if you think, okay, I need to reach out to 2,000 people, yeah, you need different avenues. And I discovered that BioNex would be an avenue where I was not there yet.
Very good, thank you. So we are talking about the funding. How well is the company currently funded, and for the next round, what are you looking for?
So for the previous developments, so we raised money from private investors, so angel investors, including myself. So we raised a total of $7 million, and $4 million came out of my own pocket. So when people say, well, you need to have skin in the game, I got a lot of skin in the game, and I spend the money wisely. So this is the thing to know. Now, so to finish up with preclinical program for cardiometabolic diseases and to get the early program for ovarian cancer. So we are technically at the level of Series B, and between these two programs, we are looking to raise about $10 million, and that could be into different tranches. So that could be 5 + 5, or that could be 2.5, then 5, and then 2.5, whatever number. But all in all, so to do preclinical development of 2 programs for $10 million, $10 million, not billion, $10 million. So this is a very efficient use of the money.
So you talk about the fundraising. Typically, investors would also ask to you, what's the next milestone? So I'm asking you, what are the next milestones that you, as a president and founder of AptamiR Therapeutics, are leading the team towards that to reach?
Yeah. So for the cardiometabolic program, so we are trying to achieve and complete the pre-IND and IND phases of the drug candidate for targeting miR-22. So within 2 years, so we should be able to initiate the clinical program with a pharma partner. For the ovarian cancer program, within the next 20 months, so 18 to 20 months, what we like to do is to identify good targets for the treatment of ovarian cancer, and then start testing the drug candidate within that indication.
And can you then tell us more about long-term vision of the company?
So as I said, so for the cardiometabolic program, when we start the clinical program, then we'll have further discussion with big pharma and see who wants to help us early on versus later. So this is in partnering with them. And then, as I said, so we are not in the business of drug marketing. So eventually, when the drug is approved by the FDA or EMA or other regulatory agencies, so then the pharma partner will acquire the drug, and then AptamiR will receive some royalties on the sale of the product. For the ovarian cancer program, again, so when we get into the clinic, we'll be partnering with big pharma, and very importantly, we'll be partnering with key opinion leaders, because ovarian cancer is a severe unmet medical need, and they are very efficient networks of gynecologists, oncologists, both in the US and in Europe, who can help us recruit patients very quickly. So this is a unique environment where not only you got biotech company, AptamiR, there will be money coming from a pharma partner, but also we'll be working hand in hand with key opinion leaders, whereby we could be recruiting very quickly patients with ovarian cancer. And the FDA consider this being an unmet medical need, so there'll be a fast track submission, review, and approval by regulatory authorities.
But is it your goal for ovarian cancer to commercialize the drug by yourself or with the partner then?
So that would be with a partner, but instead of royalty, what I would like to have is to have a commitment from the pharma partner that a significant amount of the revenue should be set aside for female patients who cannot afford the treatment. So this is very personal, because unfortunately, my wife died at an early age of ovarian cancer. So I have a score to settle to ovarian cancer. And then if we have the chance to have a drug that's working well to cure ovarian cancer, so financing should not be in the way. So part of the money that will be raising from my company will be set aside in a foundation that the patient could benefit from in order to be treated for their ovarian cancer.
Wow, that's very touchy part of the story that I didn't know, as we already know Marc each other sometime. Thank you so much for your commitment for those people they don't be able to afford the payment of ovarian cancer treatment. Thank you so much. That's really great. Is there anything else, Marc, that you would like to tell our audience that we didn't get the chance to talk about?
No, I think what is important is what we are doing right now. We could not do it 15 years ago. The technology was not there. Number two, in the world of science now, it's getting so complex that people have to collaborate in order to be more efficient. And since I've been in academia before, I've been in big pharma before, now in biotechnology, so I know where to go to find the right partner, and that helps us to move faster in order to achieve our goals. So it's a matter of sharing expertise and knowledge, and eventually the wealth, if everything goes well.
Yeah. Thank you, Marc. So thank you so much again for today's conversation. I want to remind again our guest at BioNeex interview were the founder and president of AptamiR Therapeutics, Dr. Marc Thibonnier. AptamiR Therapeutics is a preclinical stage biotech company developing microRNA oligonucleotide therapeutics that modulate several target genes in complex diseases. Thank you, Marc. It was great talking to you, and we will come again with another BioNeex interview.
Thanks for having me.